stop some of the extreme members of the Republican Party from gaslighting the American public about the cause of the storm, with Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeting, and I quote, "Yes, they control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done." So, Marjorie, who are they? Who are the they you are referring to? Exactly. Democrats? Jewish space lasers? Who knows?
So we just had 2 catastrophic hurricanes hit the country. And while usually Marjorie Taylor Greene saying something like the Democrats can control the weather and create hurricanes, normally I would find that funny. Normally I would be making fun of her left and right, but these were massive catastrophes. Lots of lives were lost. Lots of homes were lost. Things were unbelievably destroyed. So to insinuate that this was done intentionally, that it could be done intentionally, and that it was done intentionally for the sake of hurting Republicans and trying to get away with voter fraud, actually really pisses me off. And if you missed that tweet from that clip that I just showed you, here it is again, with added context, with multiple sources saying, no, you cannot just control the weather, which I thought would be a nice touch to add for everybody to see. Oh, wait, here she's talking about it again. Climate change is the new COVID. What a sentence that is. Ask your government if the weather is manipulated or controlled. Did you give them permission to do it? Are you paying for it? Of course you are. You're so right, Marjorie. There are tax dollars at work controlling the weather, which we can totally do now. And we're not going to make it no longer over 100 degrees in the summer practically everywhere. Instead, we're just going to create massive destructive hurricanes, one right after the other, and we're just going to shoot them along the East Coast. Now, why does Marjorie think that we can control the weather? Well, here's another tweet, surprise, claiming that Obama's CIA director talked about it publicly and that this is proof that we can control the weather as Democrats. Now, I have this clip ready, and I want you to watch it and then tell me if you think, after watching this clip, that Democrats now control the weather.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. An SAI program could limit global temperature increases, reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures and providing the world economy additional time to transition from fossil fuels.
So they shoot water droplets in the air that help reflect the sun's light, and it serves as a temporary Band-Aid to help buy us more time to figure out how to combat the climate crisis. It does not change the weather. It does not create the weather. It is just shooting water in the air to try and reflect the sun so things aren't so hot. But wait, she's still not done tweeting about it. So Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted in response to all the people telling her how dumb she was for claiming that Democrats can control the weather. And I wanted to add this little bit of information that had been added to the tweet. Just links upon links claiming why she is so factually inaccurate. Don't worry, after all of this nonsense, she is praying for the victims of the hurricane.
And we're so thankful to all of the emergency workers, linemen, just people that have volunteered, donated money, donated supplies to make sure that we can get things back on track here in Georgia. Also, we're praying for our neighbors in North Carolina and Tennessee, sending them as much help as possible. And of course, praying for Florida with the upcoming hurricane that's coming their way.
I'll tell you why she's sending thoughts and prayers, because she's not voting to increase funding for FEMA. Ayo. Yeah, that's right. Before the hurricane hit, a lot of people, including Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, by the way, both voted down a motion to increase funding for FEMA, the emergency services. The worst part, it was probably not the worst part, but the part that really gets me is I legitimately cannot tell if Marjorie Taylor Greene is just using these obviously fake things that she uses over and over, this false information, intentionally, because she knows there are people out there who will believe it and she understands it's not real, but she's using it, or if she's actually that dumb. I honestly could not tell you which it is, especially considering she used to get all of her factual information from QAnon and has admitted that on the floor.
These things bothered me deeply, and I realized just watching CNN or Fox News, I may not find the truth. And so what I did is I started looking up things on the internet, asking questions like most people do every day. Use Google. And I stumbled across something, and this was at the end of 2017, called QAnon. Well, these posts were mainly about this Russian collusion information. A lot of it was some of what I would see on the news at night, and I got very interested in it. So I posted about it on Facebook, I read about it, I talked about it, I asked questions about it, and then more information came from it.
So they claim that the Democrats control the weather and crafted these hurricanes intentionally to hurt people. But you know who's actually hurting people? Is these Republicans refusing to answer calls from the vice president right before a Category 6 hurricane. These people refusing to extend voter registration deadlines despite the fact that these places are destroyed. People were being told to Sharpie their name and address, their information on their own arm so that their bodies could be identified, right? So if you made it out of this, and this really, say this is the thing that radicalized you, right? And you weren't going to vote before, but now you are. Well, that's too bad because you missed it. And the place to do it was completely demolished. Oh well, sorry, there is no extension for you. So while this could be funny, and I would love to make fun of this because objectively it is ridiculous to think that Democrats actually control the weather and create hurricanes, these people, because let's say Marjorie does believe this. I don't know if she actually does or not. It's hard to tell. But let's say she does believe it and she voted based on that and based on her greed, because she always wants more money, against funding for the Federal Emergency Services, for FEMA, right before this hurricane, which would have helped people recover from this hurricane. It's the audacity to blame Democrats for creating a natural disaster when you voted against emergency funding for a natural, not man-made, disaster. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some of my content that isn't news related, you can check out my personal YouTube channel at Bad Gamer Wyatt. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.